Well, today we are hiking Mountain Isolation via the Rocky Branch Trail, the Isolation Trail, the Davis Path, and the Isolation Spur Path. About a 14.5 mile round trip hike. But from what I heard, it's never really that steep. Although it is pretty wet, from what I heard. Partner in crime is Ray.
What up?
May recognize him from last week's Kerrigan hike. And so, see what this one brings us, and I'll meet you farther up the trail. Alright, we're continuing up the Rocky Branch Trail. So far, grade isn't too bad. Although that could change. Don't know if it actually will, but it could. Man, I don't know whether it's the humidity or what. So far it's really killing us. We're barely a half mile in. Hopefully things don't get worse from here. Making our way up the trail. Yeah, it's not steep, but it's really steady, and that's what's getting to us. That and the hot temperature and the high humidity. So, see what the rest of the Rocky Branch Trail holds out for us, because judging from the topo map, the Isolation Trail looks pretty mellow. Alright, we're on a notably straight and flat section of the Rocky Branch Trail, which is a real relief after climbing up those switchbacks. So, I think we should have a little more elevation gain before we get down to the Rocky Branch shelters. And so I will meet you farther up the trail. We've reached an opening. Very, very nice. And I think we've actually hiked a lot longer than I originally thought, because we're approaching the sag between Engine Hill and the ridge to the north. So should be an Isolation Trail, I'd say about another hour or so. Alright, we've approached the boundary with the Presidential Range Dry River Wilderness, and we are in it right now. Very, very nice. So it should be relatively gentle cruise to the Isolation Trail. Alright, I think we've reached the height of land right before Engine Hill. So should be beginning the descent to the Rocky Branch Shelter and the Isolation Trail relatively soon. Alright, we are heading down to the valley where the Rocky Branch Shelter and the Isolation Trail start. What do you think so far?
That's good. I mean, that first section was rugged, but since then it's awesome.
Oh, I totally agree.
Nice hike. Pretty cool.
So we get about 300 feet of elevation gain on the way back. But the way I see it, if we can handle going up, we can handle going back a few hundred feet. Onward we go. Alright, we are now at a campsite off the Rocky Branch Trail.
You can actually see the river down through the water.
Oh wow.
Cool. Down over here drops right to it. It's a neat campsite.
Don't know if you can see it from here, but it's a flowing river way down there.
It's not that far, man. I can see it clear. It's a nice pool.
So I will meet you once you cross the trail at the river. Alright, we are currently standing in the middle of the Rocky Branch, I believe it is. our buddy Ray is heading down there to stake out some neat swimming holes. And then we're going to link up with the isolation trail. Take that to the Davis path, then take the Davis path to the isolation spur path, which we'll take to the top. We've reached the junction with the isolation trail. The Davis path, and therefore Mount Isolation, is that way. So, we're going to make our way through here, and I will meet you farther down. We are making our way up the isolation trail. So far it's actually pretty pleasant, although there were a few muddy spots, but nowhere near as bad as on the Rocky Branch Trail. So, just going to chug along and hope that the next few brook crossings aren't too difficult. Oh yeah. Alright, we just bypassed the last of the major brook crossings, so should hopefully be relatively smooth sailing to the Davis path. From there, might have to go up and down a little ways, but shouldn't be terribly bad. Well, we're passing through some blowdowns, probably from Tropical Storm Irene.
Or a little microburst up here, man.
Oh yeah, that definitely could have done the job. Very, very gnarly. And I will meet you at the junction with the Davis. We're now hiking on the Davis path. Should be relatively easy mile to the summit. And I'll meet you farther down this trail. Alright, as you can see, the trail is still pretty muddy, but the mud isn't as wet and sticky as it was when we were going up, actually down Rocky Branch, technically down. And yeah, it's basically a stream in spots. This is much more manageable. So, should be getting to Isolation Summit relatively soon. Alright, we've come to the first real views of the trip. Up there is Mount Washington. Over there we got the Southern Prezzies. I think you may be looking over to the Bonds too. What do you think thus far?
Pretty good. Not only bad for that first mile and a half.
Totally agree, definitely.
I'm wondering how steep it gets going just to that top though.
Yep. Alright, we've reached the Mount Isolation spur path, and the way we want to go is that way. So, up we go. And I will meet you on the summit of Mount Isolation. We did it. We are standing on the top of Mount Isolation. Elevation 4,004 feet in the Montalban Range of New Hampshire. This is my 46th 4,000 footer. This is number 2 for Mr. Ray.
Yeah.
Here's the cairn and the benchmark for proof. All that remains on my 4K list are West Bond Mountain and Wildcat D. West Bond is about 16 to 18 miles round trip. Wildcat D is a very measly 6, but it's not an easy 6. Man, it was a job to get up here, especially the first maybe mile or 2 of the Rocky Branch Trail. I don't know why, but I know whether it's the steadiness of the grade or what, it just whipped our butts right into shape. Well, out there we got Mount Washington. Over there you got the Wildcat Carter Mariah Range. Mount Monroe. I think that's West Monroe up there. It's Franklin, Eisenhower. Somewhere up there is Pearson Jackson. Just an all-around awesome view. Comes pretty close to the view from Kerrigan, but I don't think it can top it. So, very good hike so far, despite the rough first 2 miles. We're going to take our lunch break, and then I will meet you farther down the trail if I see something worth notice, or back at the trailhead. Alright, we're hiking back on the Rocky Branch Trail, and we're on a section of trail. It's basically a big brook. People online weren't kidding when I said that this trail was wet even during a dry spell. Onward we go to the trailhead, and assuming nothing interesting comes up, I'll meet you when you get there. We've made it back to the trailhead. We did it. It was rugged, but we did it. Pretty much 14.5 miles with, I think, 3,900 feet of elevation gain. Correct me if I'm wrong. Number 46 for me, and number 3 for Mr. Ray.
Done.
I incorrectly said on the summit that this is his second, but actually his third. Man, this is rugged, especially the first 2 miles or so up and down that beat us in both directions. Good hike though. It was pretty gradual and mellow after that, even from there all the way to the summit. And we got to take a dip in the Rocky Branch, so that was nice. Plus the summit wasn't too shabby. So, from Ray,
it was good,
and me at the Rocky Branch Trailhead, see you on my next adventure.